Writing online is a career fast track, but with over 203 million freelance writers worldwide, how can you stand out from the crowd? Peak Freelance gives you the tools to find better clients, raise your rates, and focus on doing work you enjoy. Plus, it gives you access to a supportive community of like-minded freelancers and experienced writers who make a living writing. All access members unlock a library of resources, templates, and expert interviews to grow and scale your business. Join Peak Freelance today. Hello!
And welcome to the final episode of Season 1 of
Freelance Bitters! Thanks for coming. We're doing a straight up
iced shot of tequila to celebrate.
Because we're in Mexico.
Oh,
It's really good.
Freelance trends for 2023 is not taking shots of tequila before doing your final episode of your podcast/video series.
That was delicious.
I'm happy. So, what do we talk about from here on out? Final episode. What we're going to cover today is what trends and predictions we are seeing for 2023. And if you joined us in the beginning of 2022, we discussed the freelance writing trends on Twitter Spaces.
Yes, we did.
So we are following up on that. And here we go. Trend number 1. Ashley.
Oh, you guys. I talk about this 100% of the time.
Here we go. I know it's going to be already.
It's going to be
AI writing tools.
AI writing tools.
Her love/hate. I think she hates them so much because she loves them so much.
No, I actually hate them. So AI writing tools. People using them to try and write content. Subcontractors using them to try to spoof you.
Personal experience with that? Boomer?
Boomer? Hilarious. Yes, AI writing is a trend for sure. Why don't you go and list some of the reasons why it might be good, and I'll list some of the reasons why it might be bad.
Sure. So I think some of AI writing tools are a little, like most AI writing tools, I think are a little too early in to create a credible article, right? I think somewhere where AI tools come in handy is if you are creating like FAQs or you need like general stuff. But the thing that I find with AI tools, I've tested a few of them actually at this point. I feel that clients that are going to pay you a good amount of money, they're going to know if you're using an AI tool because there's a lot of stuff missing from AI tools that only humans can put out. So I think AI writing tools are good for general purposes. And again, like we write long form blog content, but there are use cases for writing generic ads, generic emails, a lot of generic stuff. But again, that's outside of like the freelancer. Like it depends on what the client is doing and if they want to use that AI or not. And I think the use case right now is just for like cranking generic stuff out.
And I have a personal vendetta against generic content. I put a lot of pride into like the words that I use, especially for ad writing. Like I don't think that an AI is to the point where I feel like ad writing is very, very like targeted to an audience and very original and requires a lot of creativity. So it buggeth me. And then for me, like I feel like the content that it scrapes is already in my head. It's like I already know all this. Right. And so if I have an outline and I'm asking it for an outline and then it just fills out content, I'm going to just it would take me as much time to just write it than it would be to see that and to write it. But that might be a personality thing.
But also there are AI tools out that don't scrape. They're actually they use machine learning to learn about topics. But
they still don't have stories to tell.
That's true because they can't tell a story.
Right. Like I feel like humans will win because
of course there's always going to be a place for human writers. I would never take away from that. But I do think that AIs are still so early and that they will evolve in time. I mean, there's a lot of AI tools right now and some of them are decent, but they still, like I said, they still miss the human element. But I think that in time will evolve. So I think we're going to see a lot of the conversation being around AI for 2023, and we're going to see a lot of these interesting use cases from people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're either going to be like your use case where you're like, sucks, or we'll see some interesting use cases, but that's something that we're just going to have to wait and see.
But what I do think will happen is I think that writers will change their approach to writing. Like, I think we'll see a lot more individual analysis. We'll see a lot more creativity being brought into it. We'll see a lot more original research, just like things that an AI tool cannot predict. I think human writers will focus on.
Totally. And that kind of falls in line with number 2 is seeing, and I think we're going to see even more of a push because of these AI tools into journalistic style content marketing.
Right.
And this shift has been happening for a very long time now, where we're seeing a lot more journalistic elements inside of content. But now that humans are battling against the generic, is there a word for that? Genericism?
Genericism.
The genericism. There is now of AI tools.
Shakespeare.
I think we're going to see a lot of, like you said, the individual analysis, but also journalistic style content, because AIs can't find like a breaking story or something new and fresh in content.
I agree 100%.
Which is also another interesting trend that we're going to see for 2023.
Which leads into, this is already happening, but a lot of SaaS tools or just different companies are bringing a media element into their company. So it's not necessarily a company blog, but it's like, this is our brand, plus this is like our media branch. And I think that because the creator economy is growing so much, and because there's individual writers, there's TikTokers, there's, all these different people who are creating individual media. I think we'll continue to see more companies adopting like a media branch and bringing writers on to bring a fresh perspective and to build that audience and to build a community around their brand.
This episode is brought to you by Peak Freelance, the community for writers who want to grow their business, make more money, and get incredible clients. Check us out today.
Let's take advantage of these trends in general. A little recap is do some research into how to develop a journalistic tone or journalistic style, for your content.
Which is very different from like traditional blogging.
Yeah,
it's
of course.
It's been a learning curve for me.
Yeah, and definitely. And learn, really find, vet your sources to make sure they're not just like some random person from Haro who's like, I ran an e-commerce store once, listen to my advice. Like, make sure you're getting stuff from vetted, really awesome people. And then, kind of learn how to weave storytelling in, especially for me, because I write search-friendly content. The goal of my content is to rank, but also my own neuroticism is I cannot just write content. It needs to be good, it needs to be fun and interesting. So for me, developing that journalistic style, bringing in interesting people and sources and stats, individual polls and analysis, that's how you're going to take advantage of these 3 first trends. Our next trend,
a pending
recession.
Yes.
And that's just such a big conversation right now. And, it's why we wanted to bring it up. And I know everyone's talking about it, but because it is pretty intense, and also there's some pretty unprecedented, I know that word has been tossed around a lot.
Unprecedented just means pandemic.
At this point, yeah.
They're the same word.
But also for example, the bond market has been this is the first time in history that the bond market has lost more than the stock market.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's some really weird stuff happening going on. And again, I just read what experts write about the economy. I'm not an economic expert, and I'm fine with that. But a lot of the stuff that I've been reading from more neutral sources are saying this could be pretty intense. We're not really sure yet, but if it does happen, it's something to prepare for.
Yes.
So
I think that there's something super important though. Even though we are facing a recession potentially, e-commerce and retail and online everything is still huge. And I think it's really essential as writers to communicate to our current clients and to companies that we cannot let marketing slide because competitors who are willing to invest will come in and will take over.
Sure.
The fundamental economic principle, there's not a certain amount of money that goes around. You still create money with creative ideas and different products or whatever. And so I think part of, what we can do is to communicate. And I don't know how to communicate like comments about the recession or whatever, but just like, you're still going to bring value through content marketing. You're still going to be bringing leads. You're still going to be bringing business. And so I think it's okay to still, maybe package something to make something a little bit of an easier blow or for clients, or easier to digest in terms of pricing, but also like, I'm still providing value. You're still going to get leads. And if you don't invest in content marketing, like, other people will take over.
Yeah, I love that. And I've written a whole ebook on that. So recession and SEO in a recession.
Gosh, I'm going to read it immediately.
It's ghostwritten, so you'll never know.
I'll put the link there. That's my
no link.
No link. Okay.
And I think another interesting point, especially in the recession, and this is something we talk about a lot in Peak Freelance. We've been talking with other writers, is diversifying income. Yeah, like we all make money from writing and like maybe offering like strategy as a one-off or whatever. But I'm actually seeing a lot of people pivot into investing in like niche sites, which I think is really fun and cool and interesting because niche sites, it's like something that you want to write about. Like, and even though it doesn't make you money right up front.
Do you mean starting niche sites or finding somebody who has a niche site
and
investing?
Starting.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I mean,
like
you could buy,
blog?
Yeah, exactly. Like your travel blog. But I'm seeing a lot of writers I'm having conversations with like talk about like how they're looking at different existing domains to buy to like build out a niche site. Because a lot of writers have SEO knowledge, like basic SEO knowledge at minimum. And some people have become advanced SEOs like just through learning and experience. So I'm seeing a lot of that, and I love that because I actually just bought a niche site also.
That's cool.
So I'm going to be working on it. I can't give you the name yet. But I swear it exists.
It's weareawesome.com.
Weareawesome.com. But this one already has 270 referring domains, and we bought it in auction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
there's like that one dude who talks about flipping websites. I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
it's like a whole thing.
Yeah. But I'm seeing a lot of people like are saying like if we're hitting a recession, at least I can try to make money off of like sponsorships, like building search traffic and running ads, maybe selling like a digital product, whatever. And using niche sites as a way to, like sites that they're interested in, to invest their time in, because we really don't know what's going to happen. Like,
I think as well, like I write a lot about the creator economy, obviously, like I write that a lot for #Paid and other places.
Yeah.
So something that I see is coming back is individual blogging. It'll be interesting. At the beginning of the internet, it was really huge for individual creators to like build these blogs. And
remember that?
Yes.
And all the spammy links and everything.
But it was so fun.
It was.
And
it was good times.
Yeah, all the mom bloggers that just had hilarious stories, the spoofs on mom bloggers, the travel bloggers. And then there was a period where essentially all that got taken over in search by, if you're a travel blogger, for example, you can't compete with TripAdvisor anymore. You can't compete with
like
Lonely Planet. Condé Nast. But I do think with the creator economy and how much we're turning back to being super interested in really authentic content and original perspectives, I'm interested to see, and I believe personally that individual blogging, like those little blogs will make a comeback.
Love that.
I'm not sure if Google, I don't know what Google will do. Maybe maybe TikTok or Instagram or these other socials will pick it up, but
I love that.
I think that's
and it also kind of merges with that idea of a niche site, because maybe like your individual blog could be part of like your niche site, So
for sure, Z's.
I love that.
Another trend?
Oh, you have another one?
Yeah, we have. We wrote stuff down. Diversifying income. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, we talked about that. Omnichannel presence.
And newsletters. Okay. Another thing for writers that is huge right now, there's a lot of opportunity still in really just building your own audience. And one way to do that is through newsletters. Another way to do that is through podcasts. We're seeing more and more individual creators bring their voices to the table through.
Oh, I love that framing. That's such a good framing.
Bring their voices to the table through different avenues, different media avenues. And one of them is newsletters, and one of them is podcasting, video series, things like this. then there's a lot of room for that, especially like, as I mentioned before, authentic content, and then, building an audience.
I am curious though, I want to ask though, like, so if you're a freelance writer and you're hearing this right now for the first time, like, how do you decide what type of newsletter to build, right? Because, what we're doing right now is for freelance writers, but like, does every freelance writer go out, like, make something for freelance writers? Like, what are you supposed to do?
I think that like seeing where things are saturated, like honestly, the freelance writing space is pretty saturated. There are some really great, like Mariana has a great one, Kat Bogart has a great one, Kaylee Moore has a great one, Freelance is a great one, Content Connect is a great one.
Content Connect for content marketers.
Masuma has a great one. I've heard talks of other people who are, popular on Twitter. And there comes a point where it's like, there's a lot going on in freelance. And that's not to say that you can't add your voice, because I think everyone has something special and individual to bring. So if like freelancing is your jam, go for it. But there's also something to be said about identifying where the gaps are in a certain niche, or what you're particularly good at, and targeting that and building something around that.
Love that.
Me too.
So you get out there.
You get out there.
You start that newsletter.
If freelancers aren't building aren't getting drunk on your podcast.
What?
Cut.
You get out there.
And cut.
You build your thing, and you build a business that's fulfilling and rewarding for you.
Yeah.
If you've listened all the way through, and even if you joined us halfway, thank you so much for joining us on this first season of Freelance Spinners!